remember me. I felt relieved, offended. Had I been that boring of a lay? God, how humiliating. Here I'd been, dreaming of him all summer, and he probably hadn't remembered my name the next morning, even though we'd both been in my sister Mary and his cousin Liam's wedding. Talk about awkward. I stuffed my hands under my butt to hide their shaking. This only made my legs shake, and I almost shook myself off the chair. I'm Kate, I finally said, sticking out my hand. You can call me that too. No one calls me Miss Wright. Besides, I prefer Ms. anyway. I'm not married. Although, why should it matter? It's dumb. Men are just Mr. no matter what. I clapped my mouth shut, a hot blush staining my cheeks. Lochlann took my hand in his firm grip, and fuck me if I didn't have a mini orgasm right then.
Dr. Gallagher, nice to meet you.
He sat back in his chair and sifted through the small handful of papers currently sitting on his desk.
I apologize for the mess. I was only recently given this office, but the previous occupant took all of the file cabinets and folders.
He put on a pair of reading glasses, which only seemed to emphasize his handsomeness. I also had to bite back an awkward giggle, because who called 4 pieces of paper a mess? But no, who cared about papers? More importantly, how had I not known that Liam's cousin was a professor in my field, or that he was living and working in Seattle now? When I'd asked Mary about Lochlann back in June, she said he worked in Dublin doing something nerdy. Thanks a lot, Mary, I thought wryly.
Oh, yes, I remember now. You're researching biofuels, which would make perfect sense, as that is also my area of research.
My ears perked despite the situation. Talk nerdy to me, Lochlann, I thought with a shiver. And in that Irish accent? Swoon. He was going to have to mop me up after this, because I was already melting into a swooning girl puddle.
Your schedule looks good, although I'd encourage you to take more outside your specific field,
said Lochlann. No, Dr. Gallagher. I had to think of him as that from now. He was my advisor. I didn't want to overload my schedule with too many different types of classes, I guess. Dr. Gallagher took off his reading glasses, and I almost sighed.
I'd like you to expand beyond your specific interests. It'd also look good if you plan to apply for an internship over the summer.
I'll consider it.
Excellent.
He leaned back in his office chair, cool as an Irish cucumber. Or an Irish potato. Except he was hot. So he was a very hot potato.
Miss Wright, did you hear me?
Me being me, I blurted, "Nope, not one word." Most people would have smiled or rolled their eyes and huff-laughed. I tend to get people to do that, even when they find me annoying. It's a gift. Apparently, Dr. Gallagher was immune to me, except in the sex department or the memory department.
Please pay attention, he said. I don't have time to repeat myself.
You seem very busy. I glanced at the 4 pieces of paper on his desk with a raised eyebrow. Okay, maybe I'd miscounted. There looked to be all of 5 documents. Damn, this guy sure was slammed with work. Again, he didn't react. Was he made of stone? What had happened to the charmer who'd charmed my panties right off of me 3 months ago? Maybe Dr. Gallagher was impersonating his secret twin brother, and the man sitting before me was, in fact, someone else. Except when I looked at his wrist, I saw that scar, about 2 inches long, that I'd asked him about. Get in a fight with a rosebush? I joked.
Worse, he said wryly. A very angry and overheated container of fuel.
Right then, he saw me looking at the scar and moved his hand so I could no longer see it. His gaze then flicked over me. And if I weren't imagining things, I almost could have thought he did recognize me. It wasn't like we'd fucked without ever turning on the lights. I'd gotten a good look at him. Head, chest, dick, legs, ass, or arse, as he called it. And he'd done the same for me. Except for looking at my dick, obviously. But that gaze flicker of his disappeared so quickly, I wondered if I'd imagined it. Was I hoping for something that wasn't there?